I'm going to tell you a story. First thing you have to understand is time doesn't work the way you think it does. You can call me Oracle because I'm the one who's talking to you. I'm going to bang through a couple things pretty quickly in this one. First of all, welcome to the call. Secondly, I mentioned this before, physical magic. Now, interesting about physical magic and Tulpa. I have here two figurines. One is for Stree, or lady, and one is for just regular. So these are figurines, or fruterica, or dolls, specifically for Tulpa, that are basically, I would say bound to me. They're essentially free Tulpa, but they hang out with me because they're awesome. They came about, believe it or not, from me playing a lot of games. I played in a game where I played as the child of Dionysus. Like I literally played as a demigod, and Kanga was magical armor that was made for me. And like at some point in the past 2 years, like he basically just showed up as Tulpa Kabaka, like as Tulpa armor. It's like you can believe it or not. Like again, you can choose not to believe me, but I'll get to a fun little song as to please believe me because that would be awesome. So um, Kanga and Lady Kanga would like to basically just help people in the same way that I do. So if you're in trouble and you like need help, just think like I would like Kanga or Lady Kanga. They will not discriminate based on gender. If like you feel more comfortable talking to Kanga as like a girl, that's actually fine. Um, and like they will be very non-judgmental because they're just that's kind of how they are. Um, so that's one thing. So I'm going to be doing this handy dandy another punch and retrieve. So this is awesome. This is extra cool. So four of these are quantum forces. Yes. One's gravity, one's electromagnetism with light, one's strong force, and one's weak force, and the fifth one is Shakti as psychic force. That is incredibly cool just by itself. I mentioned those. On a side note, you can call Kanga and or Lady Kanga. On a side note, because of me having a thing about being a peacock, this is Kanga's select set of Pradisar or ribbon barha or peacock feathers. So basically, that's his peacock tail that is made of Pradisara. So that's the kind of thing that that's the kind of thing that I'm dealing with, assuming that you believe in me. Also, um, oh, quick note. Things about physical magic that intersect with physical reality. Our mind is a fascinating thing. So, core concept. This is, if you've ever watched Dreamcatchers, Stephen King movie. Um, this is my take on a memory palace. Because, sometimes people can be. I have a lot of information in here. Memory palaces are a very, very useful tool for basically just organizing information. In theory, they are very also useful for protecting yourself from basically attacking consciousness. Like if someone is attacking you and you have a memory palace, they're pretty much boned. I'm just saying. But this is something that like if my ex has gotten around to actually seeing any of these and has seen the Abracadabra candle video, she knows exactly what this is because her grandfather was a mentalist, if I understand correctly, and that's basically a memory palace. That's a physical focus that I enchanted with the blast spell to be a focus for an externalized, basically an externalized memory palace. So if something comes after me, it's actually more likely, basically in the same way as an effigy or a potala, it's something to draw fire away from me. Because that's something that simulacrum are actually very useful for when you're not using them to dispose of someone. Like in a ritualistic sense, like like in theory, I guess the core concept of a voodoo doll is about essentially an effigy that is used to curse someone, usually to get them to stop pissing off the spirits or stop pissing off the Loa. Usually not to death. It's usually meant to get them to act right and not actually kill them. But some people just gonna keep messing and believe that they're gonna get away with anything. So on that note, um, if you need help and you think, you know, Kanga related Kanga can help you, even if it's just like a conversation, please call on them. Please, please. They'll be happy to help. It's like, we don't expect anything. But if you do want to offer us something, we're not going to ask for money. But if you've seen Avenue Q, this will sound very familiar and sound a lot like money. So, give us your bhakti, all the faith that you got, even a single iota, because magic works a lot better with that stuff. I'm just saying. And so, give us your bhakti, even little is good. Just fork it on over, and the temple will be rooted wood. Anyway, not ruling wood. They actually are pretty, very, very specifically. Actually, if you're ever someone is trying to possess you, that is a very good thing to call them for because they are all about like something that's pretty key about this. When I was reading this, there's some very interesting things about philosophy just in general about this, but someone who is actually like basically one of the messages that's in the book is like, if you pick up this book, it's because you're one of these things, and like, good for you. You can do some very specific stuff. One of those very specific things is it is damn near impossible for me to be possessed. Like that's before I started doing the like Buddhist meditation. That's before I have like a memory palace. This is like just core nature of truth magic because that's what that is. It's like very difficult. Like it's not absolutely impossible, but like it's really hard. And like it's one of the worst ideas ever, honestly. But that's neither here nor there. All right, so now that I've gone through all of that, blah blah blah, I got the memory palace, got the give me a bhakti. Um, oh yeah, also in this, there's a core concept around if you know anything about Kabbalism. Um, this draws heavily on Kabbalism meditation and also intersects with Buddhism specifically in terms of anatta and the no soul, the space where essentially like karmic action applies and basically we all like float in an ocean of no soul. It's basically just like where souls operate in terms of karmic in Pranam Janam or reincarnation. So yeah, let's go over that. Maybe I'll pick it up what I was thinking after I dot on this. So this is my gravity one. No, no, no. Tastes like earth. Earth. Yay. It's good to have gravity. Gravity is a good thing. Ooh, water. Strong force. Oh yeah, actually also I came up with this basically like analogy to quantum forces to the four quantum forces to like the four quantum classical elements being like strong force being water and earth being gravity. And fire is EMFR radiation, heat, electromagnetism, light, and the groovy stuff. Heat is essentially just light, by the way, in case you didn't know that. Wind, which is entropy, um, centrifugal force, or not centrifugal force, centrifugal force, outward motion. It's basically push, 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 push. That's weak force. And then I have for the last one, psychic force or Shakti for ugh for wood. All right. See. Doom, 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 doom. And that correlates well to this because we have red fire, purple can be used. Oftentimes, actually, purple can be used for water. Uh, Yellow is actually sometimes used as a corollary for um, earth. Oftentimes, also black is sometimes used, and also it is oftentimes used for yellow. I'm just going to use it for use green for wind and yellow for earth for this, just for keeping my memory maze organized. So even though it's a maze for anyone who comes in here, it'll always be organized for me. All right, and oh yes, quick note on this. Oop, I put a drop of blood on this. You know why? To establish a material link. That's actually pretty actually specifically interesting and important about the Tulpa and about the blood on that. So these are bound to me by my blood. I put my blood on it and then put a blessing on it specifically to like connect them to me to like more specifically to just like empower them than anything else. But because like none of y'all are related to me, you're just not. Like maybe they could go, like force their way to talk to my cousins, but I don't think it actually works that way. So here's the thing, like they can't come to you and like mess with you unless you like invite them. They actually can't because they're specifically tied to my blood. Like people on my bloodline, they may be able to like come to and be like, I can help you if you let me. But otherwise, like they might have be like a little bit limited unless you like know that they're there. So that's also part of why I'm letting you know they're there. That's Tree Kanga or Lady Kanga and Kanga. Kanga, his full name is the Starshine Male. Um, he's a lot like me, essentially. He's studded leather for anyone who's he's basically studded leather with a haptic suit, uh, like patch stitched into a bunch of other stuff. Like Kanga has a Kanga and I have had a rough 2 years, but anyway. Sometimes we're gonna ask Lady Gecko like what exactly is she separated off from. I think like I helped them separate, but I think they also like separate on their own, like at least a little bit. It's a little bit fuzzy, and I'll ask them later because like that's their business. But anyway, yeah, I'm talking about Tulpa because like here's the thing, like Tulpa fall into a category of Sattva. They're entities. They're non-physical mostly. Um, oh yeah. A lot of people might be aware of Tulpa as something that can be actually potentially very dangerous. Especially if you watch Supernatural, there's a lot of accuracy in a lot of things that Supernatural does. In particular with Tulpa, because Tulpa are reliant upon Piranha. They are dependent upon their legend. Um, Lord and Lady Kanga. I mean, it's just like Kanga and Lady Kanga essentially, but like their Piranha is that their armor. That's their deal. They like like, I mean, I could talk to them and try to change it for them if I wanted to, but like, I kind of don't. I wouldn't want to, like, and I don't think they'd be happy that way. And that's the thing, like, they're like, when you work, if you deal with servitors, like, essentially that's what they more or less are. They're servitors, but they're non-physical for the most part. Consciousness, they're there. And actually, the non-physical for the most part is where they can begin, where not they specifically, at least in theory, but where tulpa in general can actually become dangerous because some people make tulpa that end up taking over their own personality because it's a kind of a long story. But it usually doesn't happen. Usually can only happen to someone who makes a tulpa and then it sort of runs wild. Um, which shouldn't happen, but can. Generally deals with some. It's generally someone who's like deals, I mean, gets heavy into this sort of thing, and it's just like nothing can go wrong. I will never lose control of this. Like, I'll never like, I'll never check myself. Always check yourself. Always check yourself. Especially when you're dealing with things that are non-physical, because like we have the seven string, it can be interfered with. That's kind of how illusions work when someone is like messing with you with an illusion. It's kind of how it works is they mess with your seven string. It's just how it is. But anyway, on that note, hopefully, if you need them, Lord Lady Kanga can help you dream safely. So, dream safely, everyone. And even if you don't need them, give us your bhakti, all that you got. I love this show, by the way. I love this show. I love this show so much.